Oh my god. Oh my goodness. This person looks like they got cut in twain. Hivers, bugmen, stick people, insect fiends. Whatever you call them, it's no secret I love these silly stick guys in Kenshi. I mean, look at them. All kinds of shapes and sizes and even colors. Okay, maybe not the fogmen too much. They're a little bit mean. Like, I wouldn't call Hivers adorable, but I would with confidence call them the hardest workers in any slave camp or player-owned workshop. I personally end up playing as these mysterious Hivers whenever I spin up Kenshi because, I don't know, it's what I do. I love these guys. They're so cool. Worst case, if you get cold feet about playing as one of the bugmen, don't worry. You can just switch races with a slight, clever change of clothes. Now, does the Hiver make the clothes, or does the clothes make the Hiver a human, am I right? Oh yeah, I forgot, my name is also Daniel. Just pretend I said that in the beginning like I usually do in my videos. Just pretend I didn't forget this time. Like my other videos talking about the swamp and its inner workings and all of the pit gangs and the chaos going on down there, today I'm going to be talking about those funky bug guys that populate the background of Kenshi. Them their Hivers and their queens and stuff. World states and cool bug facts. So prepare to be informed with relevant information you can bring to your next job interview after watching this. Think of this video like a Natural Geographic episode, but this time we're rooting for the Bugman instead of the Beak Thing, or the Holy Nation Paladins, or the Slavers, or the other Bugman prince who won't let you trade with them because you're hiveless and, well, they gotta keep the madness out. Yeah, it ain't easy being a bug with a dream out here, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's try and keep this video somewhat comprehensive and lore friendly, cause there is a lot going on with the bug people. There are 2 hives and 2 queens in Kenshi, with a total of 3 different races of bugmen in total, leading to a variety of 11 types of bugs you can encounter in Kenshi. That's a lot of bugs, and they're all slightly different from one another. Now, the largest and most prevalent hive, the one you've probably seen before, is the Western Hive. The tan-colored guys. These tan-colored, friendly-looking bugs live for their queen and dominate most of the far western part of the map, living mostly in the rainforest-like vein and the barren flatlands of Dreg. You can find many, many Hiver villages thriving in both regions. Lastly, they also have 2 communities close to the United Cities up here on the map. While generally harmless, they are dubious traders and schemers and potential thieves at worst, but overall they're a pretty nice neutral faction in Kenshi, as far as factions go, so they're nice to have around and they do bring many benefits to you in the world. The second hive in Kenshi is the Southern Hive, which dominates the secluded Royal Valley towards the south of the map, and the area of Grey Shelf next to it. With a queen and even a king to their own, these wine-colored bugs are mean as hell and will attack on sight.
Crack it open, first I
They are actually a capture faction too, meaning they will eat you if they catch you. More on that and its horrifying consequences later. Lastly, there's the fogmen. Now, these sickly green hivers are believed to be the most common result of a hiver being separated from their hive. They behave most horrifyingly like zombies. Zombies that run anyway, and they primarily infest the dreaded Fog Islands. From afar, most players can tell at just a sturdy glance that that area is bad news. Those who do venture in can attest wholeheartedly that its inhabitants can outnumber you in the hundreds easily. Even those just skirting the edge of the Fog Islands risk finding themselves being dragged into it. First to be swallowed by the fog, and second by the fogmen themselves. For now, we're just going to be talking about the Western Hive to help understand common hivers as a whole. While hivers do come from colonies, you might have seen the odd Hiver wandering on their own out there in Kenshi, trying to find their way in the world same as yourself. While some might struggle to settle in with the savage and insane human settlements, some can end up doing quite well for themselves with their newfound freedom. About all of the Hivers we can see in the base game come from the Western Hive originally, but these Hivers are much different than the ones you see back at their home. The ones back home belong to the Hive mind, and they are controlled by the beloved queen. While their structures and shops can be considered pretty crude even by apocalypse standards, they end up being pretty efficient still. The work is never done at any of these bustling colonies, mainly for the worker drones of course, but every bug here knows and does their part wholeheartedly and very well. The worker drones in particular are the definition of a hard worker across the board. All of the labor they do so happily, as it is literally what they are born to do, so they don't mind. It's for the queen after all. They have racial modifiers that boost their farming, laboring, and even building skills. They can even learn to sneak around easier and be more dexterous thanks to their small frames. And they are some of the fastest natural sprinters out there with their thin limbs. Limbs that are particularly easy to sever from their bodies, I might add. The worker drones are described to be almost goofy and childlike in nature. They even need less food to get by compared to a human. But their most important trait is a bonus to toughness, which is pretty important seeing how they have less health overall. While not designed for combat, they can learn to take blows pretty fast thanks to the toughness boost. If they survive enough fights, that is. But the worker drone's job isn't to fight. That job belongs to the soldier drones with their signature big heads. They are the defense of the Hive, and their primary job is to whoop lots of ass on behalf of the queen. Despite their large noggins, they are considered to be the most simple-minded of the Hivers, and the most loyal for it. They struggle with most simple and all complex tasks that doesn't involve killing something. They are the literal definition of dumb muscle. They do have a natural aptitude for violence, thanks to a nice bonus to attack and toughness.
Where your clothes at?
They are armed with polearms and ready to shred any beak thing looking for an easy meal from the queen, or any slavers looking for a hard worker to kidnap. Despite the ones here at home being completely unarmored, they can put up one hell of a fight thanks to their sheer numbers. Speaking of numbers, most Hive villages will actually have more bugs in them than most cities will have people in them. Ain't that a cool bug fact?
And if you want these bug facts to keep coming, you better like and subscribe right now.
Hiver princes serve as the mouthpieces of the queen. They are intellectually gifted and natural-born thieves, apparently. But most importantly at the Hive, they run the shops, in which none of the goods they sell are stolen. The guys here have like a hilarious feel to them that's hard to explain. But I think this interaction sums up the feeling I get, and the princes that run these shops pretty well.
Let us trade, skeleton.
Not today, sorry.
Why not?
Look, I am just not. Okay, leave me alone.
Why do you enter my shop but not trade? Why do you do this to the Hive? Why do you hate the Hive?
Fine, let's bloody trade it.
Not only do they run the shops at home, they also run the trade caravans, and in general, most of the show that goes on at the Hive. Despite having the deepest connection with the queen, they are the most independent and smartest out of all the Hivers, able to lead caravans far and wide, trading just for the Hive's benefit. While some go out and trade, some stay home and manage whole colonies on behalf of the queen. Lastly, we have the queen herself, the western one that is. From her little island, which is surrounded by acidic waters, it is she who commands the entirety of the hive through pheromones. All of her children, which are birthed through a mechanical womb attached to her stomach. These children of the hive have antennas from which her influence dictates and guides their actions. All of these actions which benefit her and the hive as a whole. Every bug under her influence lives only to serve the hive and the queen, and they do love the queen. She is able to lead them to do so quite effectively despite how primitive they seem to be. I think the easiest way to describe the Hivers in Kenshi is to call them bipedal, greedy, goofy, and clever ants. For the Western Hive, trade caravans like these act as the main source of progress for the hive as a whole. Dozens and dozens of caravans roam the world of Kenshi at a time in this noble pursuit, and can be found almost anywhere. Hiver caravan bosses, roles managed solely by princes, lead these caravans guarded by soldier drones. These drones are wise to the dangers of the roads, and unlike their home defense counterparts, they wear armored rags and are ready to put up a fight against anyone who has picked them for an easy mark on the open road. These caravans sell a wide range of helpful goods. Under the command of the prince, they will march across the map looking for anyone to sell or buy from. But their intentions are not always pure for their customers, as the queen comes first, of course. And the queen has decided she wants a lot of money for some reason. This caravan has been roaming for days between towns with little luck in offloading their goods. These goods are both homemade and purchased, and sometimes even stolen. But that's pure speculation, of course. Most towns often loathe to see them arrive, so they quickly trade what they can, and then it's back to the open road as soon as they're done. The road has been never-ending, but the caravan has almost made it back to their hive with somewhat acceptable profits, while making sure to steer well clear of the foglands and its maddening milky smog looming in the distance. As they approach the end of the road, fortune smiles upon this prince, as he has just spotted their next customer on the way back home, and they are well dressed too, a very good sign. They even have shoes on their flat human feet, and a backpack attached to their back. A guarantee sign that they have a good amount of cats in their pocket. The prince has a perfect plan to get some of them into his own three-fingered hands. A smart salesman knows to sell products, they must sell solutions. And this prince has the perfect solution to the foglands nearby for this lonely traveler. After some gentle and subtle convincing, the prince has made a killer sale. The lantern is worth a little less than 100 Caton credits. The worker drones at home can easily make hundreds more of them, and he has just sold it for many times over that. That's why he's the boss of this caravan. He is a master of his craft and does his queen proud, and he will return with his head held highly. As for the claims he made about the lantern's anti-fog protective qualities, well, to his credit, no one has ever brought one back to complain after venturing into the fog with one. Not all caravans are as fortunate, however. The cost of operating for an aspiring prince is sometimes their very lives. This prince ended up giving away almost everything his caravan was hauling away for free, like a fool. Most of it now lies strewn about the sand. A few hours ago, some of the crawls chosen tested the metal of this hive caravan, and it failed. But something stirs. By some miracle, one of the soldier drones stirs back awake hours later. He is seemingly the only one to survive. not too worse for wear. But without the guidance of the now dead prince, he is completely lost. It is quite a slim chance that he will find his way home on his own, back to his hive. With his hive mates slaughtered and the pack animals butchered and looted, he simply continues walking in the direction he believes they were headed before. Hours later, he is walking and walking, continuing on. His antennas tell him nothing, but on he goes. It is all he knows to do, is to walk the roads. He tries to stick to them, just like they did before, but before long, he is just aimlessly wandering into the wild. He does not even know when it is time to eat or sleep, for there is no one around to tell him to do so. Days later, he is blindly walking on, and pheromone withdrawals have begun to slowly set in, slowly warping his mind, beginning to sever him from his hive and his family forever. He slowly begins to have thoughts of his own, born from his own coming free will from the hive mind. But these are signs of his imminent doom, as it is unlikely that he will survive the final stages of the withdrawals. Very few do at this point, but he still walks on, determined to go somewhere, anywhere. The soldier drone collapses in the sand, having wandered aimlessly all the way to the great desert somehow, slowly becoming one with the hot sand. But he is blessed with yet 2 more miracles. Not only does he survive the withdrawals fully, the small samurai patrol that found him knows well that he will make a great obedient, low-paid samurai, or maybe a slave beater. It'll only take some food and a little convincing. And if not, well, he can join the others in the slave camps. But he does end up being competent with a weapon, and at following orders such as fetching more drinks. Overall, he turns out to be a grand addition to the barracks, and for it, he is given a new, higher purpose, and takes to it quite well. But for now, he is quite content following orders. We got some Schmidt action going on while I record this. But the Schmidt is going crazy. The Schmidt is going crazy. Oh my goodness. What a ravenous beast. What a feral creature. She done rolled herself off the heating pad. Now there she goes back onto it. Up, distracted by her own tail. It's tough. I hope that creature's happy on that heating pad. Are you happy, creature? Are you happy, creature? Alright. Back to work, Daniel. Back to work. Get back to work, you dog. Not all hivers who are separated from the hive are even lucky enough to survive the withdrawals, let alone the harsh world they are ushered into afterwards. Those who do overcome these impressive odds are still then left permanently confused and often depressed, having their purpose in life stripped away from them. Now, the humans of Kenshi might be pros at wielding individualism and freedom, but it doesn't come easy to a lot of hivers, especially the drones. Deep down, despite being separated from the queen and the hive, they often harbor a desire for servitude still, and are often taken advantage of for it. Most that join the player, hired or otherwise, do so under the assumption that they will be able to do just any kind of work for them, or just find some sort of purpose to something greater once more. One really cool example of a hiver leaving the hive comes from a hiveless prince named Silvershade, often found in the swamp, in a bar, most often spawning in the village of Mudtown, in the bar there. He is in this noisy place of drinks because it reminds him of the Hive. If we speak to him as another Hiver, we can see a fascinating discussion about leaving the Hive, about the nature of it, where going against this nature is possible, but it isn't easy or very common to see.
Can't seem to shake the feeling of loneliness ever since I left the Hive. So why don't you go back? You're kidding me, right? That place is a prison, an illusion, and it's a miracle I ever broke free. But it's in our nature to be part of the Hive. You can't fight nature. I sure as hell can fight nature, and I sure as hell have. You of all people should understand that. You broke free once after all.
For those who don't survive the withdrawals, however, they often go completely mad. Whether the result of a parasite, whether the result of, like, I don't know, the plants in the fogland, who knows? There's a lot of speculation, but one thing is for certain, they definitely turn into the fogmen. Little more than feral beasts, these green stickmen stalk the foggy death yards in swarms, looking to capture those foolish enough and slow enough to enter their domain in the first place. Often on the menu for them is escaped servants and hungry bandits, and malnutrition makes those guys easy targets to catch. Most of the screams you'll hear from the foglands are often from those two. Before long after they are captured and drugged back, they are tied to poles in the foggy death yards they control. And soon after, the fog princes arrive. Princes whose heads have bounties on them, I should state, for those brave moneymakers out there. I wonder if sticking one of your guys intentionally onto these poles and killing the princes that arrive to take their heads would be a good idea to make money, maybe. Also, cool fog bug fact, I guess. The fog princes bleed a yellow slime unique to them, while the other fogman types bleed this regular green sludge stuff that's kind of the same color as their skin. My guess is so you have a chance in hell of finding their corpse in a swarm of fogmen bodies after all hell breaks loose and you end up killing a bunch. It can actually really help you find their bodies because this stuff is pretty bright when it's on the ground. Those tied to the poles are literally ritually eaten alive in a horrifying display of just chowing down, I guess. At the very least, these hungry bandits won't ever be hungry again. You know, in like a strange way here, the fogmen are technically lowering world hunger. Surprisingly efficiently if you think about it. For the most part, fogmen only have randomly spawning nests. For the most part. These nests being called death yards, the place with all the poles. And you can usually see them on the map with the nest symbols. They kind of look like this. Now, the two structures they do own without any world states being altered are pretty interesting. And one of them is called the Tower of Fog, ominously enough. The Tower of Fog is on a lonely island way out here. So you have to swim all the way out to it to get to it. And also, as a fair warning, the water is acid too. So good luck getting here with your health at 100 if you're a human being. It's kind of neat to see. Well, unless you wanted to like build out here. In that case, well, you can't because of the tower. But this tower is slam-packed full of fogmen if that helps you. Maybe. I don't know. Don't believe me? Then come out here and open it your damn self, coward. The other thing they own is an abandoned Holy Nation outpost close to the foglands called the Dead Hive Overrun. This abandoned town, village, forward station, whatever it was, makes an excellent place for the hungry fogmen to bring succulent treats back to, so they can chow down. Another fun bug fact, the Fog Prince's heads actually have a pretty cool item model, like if you drop it on the ground. If you drop them on the ground after collecting them, looking at it, we can see that the model actually uses a sack, like you would put a head in. Cool. Looking inside, we can see that it is a sack full of potatoes. Do what you will with this cool bug fact. So, we know the Western Hive generally avoids warfare and violence for the most part. They are pretty much docile, even too welcoming at times at worst, and they make Kenshi very unique, so I think they're a pretty cool addition. Most of you are probably mainly familiar with the Western Hive through their trader caravans, which will often and frequently visit your base, even when you're pretty far away, where other traders don't dare travel to. They are actually very, very helpful and will save and enhance many ill-prepared bases established by players. For me, it's the farm trader that comes in absolute clutch. When you're trying to start and expand your farms in the beginning, that shit is rough, bro. When you're trying to get food production locked down, when one of these guys show up, it's like fucking Santa Claus coming down the chimney. They are one of the most important traders in the game as far as I'm concerned. I love these guys. Good luck hauling fucking 100 wheat back to your base. These psychopaths do it for you so you can buy it for like pennies on the dollar. So like in general, keeping the Western Hive around is like best for the player and the world, honestly. There is little reason to attack or harass the Western Hive. I don't know, maybe you want to destroy them for some reason. Maybe you got scammed by the Lantern Dude and you're still butthurt about it, I don't know. Well, if you know where their queen is, you can make a small decision that will heavily impact the world surprisingly. Like, holy shit, does it impact the world? Oh my god. If you swim out to her island, you can find the queen herself. She is well protected in her own fancy royal hive hut. Now they really, really don't like it when you visit. Even at this point, they still won't attack you. You gotta commend them on their hospitality. Despite you having no reason to be here at all, they still won't attack you even if you linger around. Approaching the queen, you can actually talk to her. And as you see, she has a lot to say.
Why do you scream? Are you okay? I am not going to hurt you. I just want to talk. Okay, this behavior is very unqueen-like. Look, I just wanted to talk. I swam all the way out here and everything.
Crying sounds.
Okay, calm down, I am leaving.
So like, the queen is a big introvert. That's actually fucking hilarious. When I first visited this place, when I was playing Kenshi, I was expecting to get sold like another lantern as soon as I walked in. I imagined this huge elaborate like palace full of like statues and gold piled up everywhere, like some sort of dragon horde. Like, where's all this money going? You would think it would be going to the queen. But like, no, she's just out here in this hut, living just like her subjects do, and I guess it's kind of humble, but it was pretty like overwhelming. I put this huge picture in my head, and then she's just there screaming, and you can't even really like interact with her. Well, it would seem that the best thing to do at this point is to just like, I don't know, leave her alone. Well, if you kidnap the queen and manage to take her away back to your base and lock her away in a tower at the very top of the tower for dramatic effect, the Hivers will in fact not be happy about this, but the remaining once docile and goofy bugs, boy, will they lock the fuck in, and they will come for you. They are going to rescue the queen. They love the queen, and it will become painfully apparent if you didn't realize this prior to stealing her away. For every day or day and a half roughly, the bugs will come. The bugs will come in swarms. By God, that's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of bugs pissed at you now. Good job. And these bugs, you see, they want mama to come home. Oh yeah. You might see some red bugs in here in this footage, actually, in the background. But that's because part of the consequences, as soon as you touch the queen, not only do most of them turn into fogmen outright, the southern hive fucking shows up instantly. They actually showed, that's why they're here. They showed up during my filming here when I got the raid to happen from the western hive. They started to third party me like assholes. But holy fuck, this is the second most persistent raid I've ever seen in Kenshi. It's kind of cool. Okay, and like after you beat off one of these raids, like defeat them, not jack them off, I guess, The other one is literally already on the way, more or less. It's like Dracula Flow.
The bugs are back.
For all the awful and unfair things I've done to the Western Hive, I've never like kidnapped the queen myself, so it was actually really neat to see a faction like this pull out the fucking boxing gloves, I guess. But it makes sense. If the queen dies, every bug in the Western Hive now gets to gamble on surviving that pheromone withdrawal thing I was talking about earlier. And many of them will not win that bet. So can you blame them for these intense raids? They are literally trying to save themselves. They'll die if they don't bring the queen back. But technically most of them are already dead at this point, because as soon as we kidnap the queen, the hive collapses instantly. These raids will continue for as long as the queen is alive and in your base. But gameplay wise, the Western Hive is technically like irreversibly doomed and like dead. Without the queen, the hive collapses completely, with most of the hivers becoming fogmen outright. If you happen to visit any of the hiver colonies afterwards, you can see that they are somehow more primitive and green, and well, full of mindless hivers looking to eat travelers and like anything that isn't a fogman alive. And there's just all those goofy bugmen that were strong-arming you into buying stuff that's honestly kind of useful. They're gone. Even the huts that they used to occupy are little more than just places to keep the poor souls the fogmen catch. Now, like the funniest part about the fogmen taking over these hiver villages is that the beak things absolutely fuck up the fogmen. Oh my goodness. They don't do well with beak thing attacks like at all. More or less, if you hang around one of these places, beak things will have this place gone in a few days, I promise. These fogmen can't fight beak things worth a fuck. Also, a cool bug fact, as you can see in the footage here, fogmen are not immune to acid for some reason. Another like, these guys are utterly doomed. So the fogmen in this river you see, which is acid, they're literally being turned into soup, which will feed the hungry beak things very nicely. With the queen gone and the new huge influx of fogmen, we can see that their hunting grounds are not only limited to the Fog Islands anymore. The regions of Vane and Dreg that were once controlled by the queen will now be utterly infested by fogmen now. The once bustling hives full of goofy, well, now they're just like, the hivers that did survive, now only, well, it's just really sad is what I'm trying to say. Also, no more trader caravans with the queen gone. I should mention that too. No more easy farm trader. No more. Santa's gone. You might as well disassemble your chimney. He's never coming down it again. With the fogmen, they actually have one more place they can invade, and we kind of talked about it earlier. But we have to take out some important people. If we take a look over at the Holy Nation, the Phoenix, who is more or less the kind of important. He's the leader of the Holy Nation, but you probably knew that. If we get rid of him, and this dude named Seta, I set up my balls on his head. Basically, there are now swarms of fogmen all over the place with these holy dudes gone. The fogmen have outright invaded the Holy Lands in search of, like, food, I guess. And like we said before, the holy military bases that kept the fogmen at bay are now destroyed and infested with fogmen themselves, full of trophies brought back from the new greenish hunting parties that now scour the Holy Lands for prey. Good heavens, what do you want from me? Oh, on God. Really? Eaten alive, you say? What about the children and the puppies? Eaten alive, you say? Well, let's look at our state-of-the-art live feed system. This just in. We got reports of new bugs roaming in mass numbers in, let's see here. the old Western Hive territory. They are literally fighting the fogmen over corpses to eat. Jesus Christ. They are also in the streets of the Holy Nation. In the streets, yes. Oh my goodness. No way, Slime. Say it ain't so. Woe is me. This is troubling news for sure. In the friggin' swamp, too. Even in the swamp. I don't believe it, but there it is. We can see it right here. This totally isn't my old weapon testing site I've set up and turned into a impromptu Kenshi news system. You must be on that ether, good fellow. Like the Fogmen, with the Western Queen gone, the Southern Hivers waste little time in making true on their promise of doing the opposite of world peace. That being world violence. Looking at the map again, let me show you visually where the Southern Hivers can spawn now that the Queen is gone. Basically, they can spawn everywhere now, causing most places to become outright hostile to travel through. Vane is now swarmed with fogmen-infested hive villages and patrols of Southern Hivers roaming everywhere. It is absolute chaos down there now, as if the fucking beak things weren't bad enough. I think the swamp is one of the most jarring places to see Southern bugmen, because they're pretty damn strong compared to the swamp bandits down there, and well, yeah, they're fucking up the equilibrium down there big time. And yes, before you ask, the casino is still open despite the Southern Hiver invasion going on outside. Cat crawlers never stop. The casino is open 24/7 for the end of time. So with the Western Queen gone, we got fogmen terrorizing the Holy Nation, alongside the Southern Hivers as well. With the Seta and the Holy Phoenix gone, I should clarify. That's how you get those guys to spawn there. The Southern Hivers themselves have begun this world invasion that spans far and wide, basically everywhere but the United City lands, more or less. No more caravans or shops to buy from now that the Western Hive is gone, so no more of that going on. Yeah, it's safe to say that the Queen's death has had a shit ton of consequences, more than you would probably think, right? Is that it? Well, no, there's literally more going on. There's like one more thing going on. Now, I said all Western Hivers became fogmen more or less with the Queen's death, just like, boom, instant fogification. As we saw earlier with that very long and drawn out cinematic thing I made with the Western Hive caravan and the soldier drone tweaking after losing the hive and all that. There is a chance for Hivers to become independent and free once the withdrawals are finished. And there were a lot of bugs that just got that chance, and not all of them turned into fogmen. Those that have survived the withdrawals have begun to find their way in the world in large quantities now that the Western Hive is no more. Away from the Western Hive, they try and find new lives. Even in the United Cities, some of these newly lost Hivers can be found still thinking of the Queen. Most of the Western Hive soldier drones have outright become bandits themselves with one hell of a chip on their shoulder. They are doing the only thing they know how, and it seems to be working for them somewhat. These bandit hives can now be found alongside the Southern Hivers in a lot of areas, fighting each other. As if it was not bad enough already, we now have 3 types of Hivers that are now hostile, caught in an eternal struggle, and most of them are doing it in the front yard of the Holy Nation. It's so sad for the Holy Nation that it loops back around to being funny again, seeing all these bugs just fucking fighting out there. As we can see on the map here, these new Hive bandits, which are more or less just soldier drones that have taken to banditry, have now begun to roam the lands. As we can see on the map here, we can see that they are in the swamp too, alongside the Southern Hive, further making the swamp harder to exist in, if that was even fucking somehow possible in the first place. Hell, if we look here, Hive bandits can now spawn in United City territory too. Another thing to mention is that the Shek get some chaos in their front yard. It isn't just the Holy Nation getting beaten with the stick here. The Shek are getting beaten with the stick as well. The stick being the Bugman. The Shek town of Squin. Everyone knows what the Shek town of Squin is. Also sees southern hivers and bandit hives, which is wild to see. I just want to mention the southern hivers, when they roll up, can put up one hell of a fucking fight, even against the Shek. And yeah, that's about it for the death of the queen and the vast and insane consequences. Bugs everywhere, and most of them now being violent and angry and strangely cannibalistic are just sad and confused. The death of one simple, out-of-the-way character has thrown half the damn world into chaos. It is crazy to see. Yeah, Kenshi is no stranger to world-ending events. It has toughed out a few, I've heard, so it'll be okay with this one. Probably. Personally, I think I would have just taken the L on getting scammed on that lantern, to be honest. Now, the last group of bugs to officially talk about is the Southern Hive, and well, we know they're mean as hell. They literally invaded the world as soon as the Western Queen died. The Southern Hive was one of the last factions that was worked on in Kenshi during its official development, and thus has probably the most bugs. Well, no, not like gameplay bugs. Well, these are technically gameplay bugs too, I guess, but I mean like the Southern Hivers being considered by humans, by other characters, gameplay bugs like that. Southern Hivers are quite rare in Kenshi, especially for the player to recruit. But there is one guaranteed Southern Hiver recruit in Kenshi, a Southern Hiver drone in the base game, no mods. All those familiar with this channel know who it is quite well, and yeah, it is Esper. He is in Tengu's vault. Break him out, and he's all yours. One of the ultimate collectibles in Kenshi. Southern Hivers like Esper here are treated like humans in the eyes of a lot of other Kenshi characters because of like the way they're coded or something, I don't know. This leads to a jarring ability that Esper wields as being a half-baked bug in late game development. He is not only able to trade with his sworn enemy, the Western Hive, but also as a hiveless southern bug. The prince will even call Esper a human when you go to talk to him. The Holy Nation will, however, whoop your ass though. I think they treat you like a Shek more than a human. So it's not that jarring to where you can like, I don't know, join the Holy Nation as like a southern bug. That would be pretty wild, but they don't seem to be as aggressive because I literally had this patrol walk straight past me in this footage here, so they're somewhat lenient. I guess they just need time to process what a Southern Hiver is because they've never seen one. The Southern Hive is much meaner than its Western counterpart. All of its units are stronger, better equipped. Overall, if the Western Hive prioritized economy and trading, the Southern Hive prioritized like ass whooping and feeding people to their king. Yeah, that's right, a king. He looks like this. He runs like this. His job is to do this. He is very good at his job. The main thing to note about the Southern Hive is how they literally invade the world after the Western Queen kicks the bucket. But they do have some cool content to them that many of you might not have seen before. They have hive colonies just like our Western friends do over on the other side of the map. And they even have numerous armories that they have taken over, giving a great explanation of why they are so well armed despite being such a recluse faction. Now the Southern Queen has one hell of a personal guard, not including the monstrosity that is the king. So look at the fucking stats on these drone guards, these elite drone guards, Jesus. Alright Daniel, what if we manage to kidnap the Southern Queen? Well, you can fucking guess what happens next. If you thought the Western Hive was mad when you did it to their queen, you ain't seen mad yet. The Southern Hive transcends anger in their assault, visiting every single day or half day. Literally, the Western Hive attacks every day, day and a half, These motherfuckers can be there with before the fucking sun sets on their second raid. It is insane. If you thought those anti-slaver dudes were scary with their counter raid after you fucking kidnapped Tin Fist, try and challenge yourself to survive until the Southern Queen starves against this bullshit. The gorillas by them damn fucking selves were enough. The things are so fucking piss mean and stupid. It's like they feed them nothing but Fent and Mr. Beast bars laced with Flintstone chalk gummies. They're so fucking mean. Once you have decided to kill the queen and or allow her to starve, the Southern Hive, much like its western cousin, will be no more. No more red bugs, no more. They don't even get homeless spawns like the Western Hive does, so you can't even find like Southern Hive bandits or Southern Hive like drones wandering around confused because the queen's gone. They all simply turn into fogmen and just disappear outright. With their great temple overrun by dead hive remnants, all that exists is what was. This is probably the hive you want to destroy if you're craving bug violence, because not much of value is lost with this savage red hive gone. And in the end, the Royal Valley only gets two choices. They can either have savage bugs that eat people, or they can have savage bugs that eat people. And this time, it's probably for the best that they choose the savage bugs that eat people.